All right, everybody, how are you doing? Hopefully things are going well. And yeah, it's Wednesday, and I know you weren't expecting to see me today, but I got some information that I figured many of you would want to know about. So if you have any questions as we talk today, feel free to type those in the chat. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is we're doing our best to make sure that you are always informed as to what's going on. When it comes to rules, regulations, that's kind of where we're talking about today. And a little birdie, also known as Massey, our resident bookkeeper, happens to be one of those individuals who gave me some information. And that information was, I think it's going to be very important for you, and I wanted to talk with her about it. Well, rather, she said, hey, you should talk about this. And I was like, no, you should talk about this. So it's much easier when you can hear it first party. So she and I, you're going to hear us talking live right now about the situation over in Anaheim. And for those of you who aren't familiar, there are many jurisdictions across the United States that have been having, we'll call it challenges, figuring out how they want to handle the whole short-term rental space. And well, what we are going to be talking about is what Anaheim has been doing, and more importantly, how that has continued to evolve. And as you know, what I have always said is, yes, I get the fact that you're hearing this stuff in the news. What you ultimately have to wait for is what does it say inside their ordinance, and even then, it's still not done, because they have to figure this thing out. There's a huge opportunity in front of each and every jurisdiction, and it's going to go through multiple iterations. And if you can handle that quote unquote uncertainty and ride that wave and learn to adapt, I think there's going to be an opportunity there for all of us at the end of the day. And you just need to figure out what that looks like. Now, I haven't talked to Massey. I honestly don't know anything much about the specifics in terms of what's going on in Anaheim. This is what we're talking about. However, she's been intimately involved for many different reasons. And many of you probably already know her because we have the bookkeeping module inside the course materials. So know that that's there. And at the end of the day, and for those of you who are watching later on Facebook, this is one of the many reasons why you want to put yourself inside one of our groups. And you can always start with our mastery group at cashflowdiary.com/mastery. Now, what I'm going to do, we were having some trouble getting her cameras to work. So you'll only be able to hear her talking. But she and I will be talking, and I'm going to pull up the chat room so that on another on the monitor right over here, so that I can see what you guys are saying and are asking us, and then we'll be able to kind of go from there. So hopefully this will help you, and we'll find out together what's been going on in Anaheim. Massey, you there?
I'm here.
Excellent. They can hear you now, just so you know.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, there. She's like, I'm so excited that you can hear me. So why don't you get us caught up? How did you get involved in the situation in Anaheim? What is the situation in Anaheim? And definitely let us know the updates that happened. It was yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So take us through the story, if you would.
Okay, just a quick timeline. I purchased a property in May 2014.
Okay.
Took a few months to renovate, and by the time we were ready to open the property, Anaheim had started issuing business licenses for short-term rental operators.
Okay.
Started
or stopped?
They started.
Oh, okay.
2014, around August, I think July, they started issuing business licenses. So we were operating with the blessing of the city of Anaheim and a business license, basically authorizing us to do it. We also never operated without it.
Understood.
So
you were following what was then the published rules, as far as you knew.
Yes. We went right into the city before we purchased the property. We wouldn't have made the investment without that information. They said there's no regulations. By the time we opened, they had put something together. Okay. So we followed all the rules and everything, and it was really not a big deal.
Usually
around mid 2015, about 8 months later, they instituted a TOT tax of 15%.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. It's just another thing to add to our process, which is fine. We complied with that. And then the end of 2015, the beginning of 2016, we started to see a very orchestrated and organized campaign against short-term rentals.
Okay.
This was not your ordinary upset neighbor. This was yard signs, T-shirts, a very orchestrated campaigin against us. So I have
do you know who it was led by? Did I just beat?
We are gonna. Yes, I do feel like I know who it's led by.
Yeah. Was there any particular animals with 2 ears? No, just
Actually.
messing with you.
We'll get into that a little bit, but so what ended up happening, we're kind of involved in the community. We have a couple of friends who also are short-term renter operators and investors in the city.
Mm-hmm.
We were made aware of this kind of dead alliance group. It was kind of an alliance formed many years ago, but it was not really an operation that had been reborn for short-term rental operators to gather and try to figure out what we were going to do. And these are big time investors. Some of them had $30 million tied up in Anaheim, and we quickly knew we needed to jump in with this group and see really what was going on.
Right.
So we got into the group and we started cooperating with the city. We went to workshops where we talked about how we could be better operators, and we listened to the concerns of the neighborhoods and all these things. And we really felt like things were going really well. The people in the alliance, the leaders of the alliance, were like, "Hey, we're going to get the best operators ever. We're going to listen to the concerns. We're going to improve. We're just, and also kind of self-regulate." Nobody would be allowed in the alliance if they weren't following the rules or being a problem operator, which there were some in Anaheim.
Wait, hold on. You mean there aren't just problem operators in my neck of the woods? They're there too? Oh no.
Yes, they are there, and I think we can understand. There are complaints about short-term rentals.
Sure.
That we can understand, and that I think, especially in your group, you've addressed those concerns to be a good neighbor. And so
we'll do our best.
Yeah. So kind of when this campaign popped up, if you think about the timing of it, in a presidential election year as well, 2016, the timing of it really kind of created this boogeyman in the short-term rental industry. And the concerns are not necessarily partisan. I mean, you could have a Democrat or Republican leaning when you're talking about your home and maybe what you don't like going on next door.
Right.
So it was definitely orchestrated and getting a certain result, which we didn't understand at the time what the result was. So July 2016, we've been going to city council meetings, and they were intense.
No doubt.
They were crazy. I mean, I almost feared for some kind of violence going on because there's so much emotion. We hired a PR firm to help us in the alliance to be able to present ourselves in a good way. We got letters from our neighbors who appreciated the way we ran our business, and there was probably about 100 active homeowners in the alliance and about 300 to 350 permitted operators.
Got it.
So about the 1/3 that were really invested, and just great. I mean, we would have assigned speakers to go to the city council meeting, the best of our group. We had combat veterans who were supporting their family doing this. We had longtime Anaheim residents who had to leave their home for whatever reason, and they were using short-term rental to solve that problem. And we just had great, really, I mean, top-notch, logical, well thought out and planned out, and no emotion. It wasn't crazy. And then the other side just had nonsense, complete nonsense. Like people up there screaming and crying and saying they were losing cleaning jobs and all kinds of really crazy stuff. And probably some really upset neighbors that didn't like that their street had turned into maybe a vacation rental.
Sure.
Okay, so, but we really felt like we had logic on our side. We had business licenses. We were now bringing money into the city at about $500,000 a month at minimum.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. How much?
$500,000 was being collected in TOT tax per month.
Per month. Okay, continue. This just got even better.
Yeah. Also, we agreed to help fund code enforcement on ourselves. So
Okay.
we said, yes, fine us if we leave our trash cans out. Yes, we want all the bad operators out, and we will even help fund it. So we really did. I mean, we just felt like things were really going our way. We had a lot of positive political inside game going with the city council. And all of our leaders of the Anaheim Rental Alliance felt very positive about our case. The vote came down on July 2016, and they voted 3-2 to completely ban them.
And when was that again?
July 2016.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so we were just completely blindsided. The leaders of the Anaheim Rental Alliance were blindsided, and it was a 3-2 vote. So this wasn't an ordinance. It was voted on by the people. It was 3 people to 2 people who were running the city of Anaheim.
Got it.
Shut down all of our investments. So, we regrouped for about 20 minutes and we got back to work in the Alliance. The mayor at the time was very belligerent towards short-term rental, and he said he would shut us down the next day if he could, but his attorneys advised that they had to give us an 18-month phase out.
Right.
So the 18 months actually ended February 2018.
Okay.
And I'm still operating. So there have been problems with this ban, major problems. So with the ban also came intense regulations. The regulations were so over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah.
That they actually ended up helping us in our fight.
Give me an example of some of the overtop, ridiculous stuff that they started asking for.
Okay, they were allowed, code enforcement was allowed to enter our homes at any time for any reason.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that
I'm sorry. That was hard to what? No.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
There were $1,000 fine for leaving your trash can out past 5 p.m.
Did you say $1,000?
$1,000.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Three minor violations or one major violation, you lose your business license. So one major violation would be you're having a party that they had to shut down. That would be like a major violation. So one mistake, one party got by you, you would lose your business license and be shut down. So we retained a very high-powered attorney or a couple of attorneys just to go to work, and they started on these regulations. And with the ban itself, they decided to kind of shelve that a little bit, and we started getting small victories in court.
Okay.
Small victories in court means the city of Anaheim pays our legal bills.
Wow.
Yes, when we win.
Wow.
So, yes. So we were a group of about 100 people, and so we had limited amounts of money. The city of Anaheim, you think, has unlimited amounts of money.
Well, they have an unlimited power to tax.
Yes.
Got it.
As a single operator, like I wouldn't really have gotten anywhere with this.
Right.
What I'm kind of stressing today is the power of this alliance that we were able to organize and also pool our resources. So the city attorney and outside counsel advised the city council that because they had issued us business licenses from the beginning, they would have to pay us restitution to shut us down.
Whoa. How much would that have been for you? I'm just curious.
Well, remember that big stack of paper I posted?
Yeah.
Okay. That's me explaining how much I've spent and documenting and proving how much I've spent so that they can.
And you're a bookkeeper, so it was good.
Yeah. I have the documents. They did weed out people in this process because not everybody's going to do that.
Right.
In fact, 50 people didn't even apply for an automatic extension. That's just a little bit kind of an illustration of just not being involved, how much money those people lost.
Right.
They had an automatic 5-year extension and they just didn't even file paperwork.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, this has taken a substantial amount from my husband, Jeff, and I being involved and also having very good leadership and organization in the ARA, which is the Rental Alliance. But the city council is difficult to work with because it's all done in city council meetings, while we're busy living our lives. But everything is online. Every ordinance they passed, I've been able to research and study online. And so it's kind of just staying involved. So where we're at right now is in April 25th, 2017.
Yeah.
Is when the city council voted to extend this, what they call like the hardship exemption. So that
goes to 2022 now for you?
Well, they gave an automatic extension for people, but I want longer than 2022. They're not going to pay me cash money, but they will pay me extended amount of time to operate.
Okay.
So what I'm asking for is years.
Got it.
I'm asking for time. Got it.
Yeah. No, totally understood.
Yeah. So I want to recoup my investment on this. So, I'm following. So I'm following that process. But that has been a complete nightmare. Like, who do you think in the city offices is qualified to evaluate my hardship, which was 1,000 pages?
Nobody.
And they charged me to turn that in. I had to pay $1,800 for the pleasure of turning that in. So they did outsource it to an accounting firm, and they've already spent all the money. They're out of money.
Got it.
Before they even received my application.
Wow.
So so the city council often tends to do this. They create major nightmares for the city workers. So anyway, so all along we've been working with the city. We've been working with the city workers to try to get better information because we kind of get cryptic information here and there, and they keep extending our time because they haven't given us an answer that will hold up in court, and they know we're going to sue them as soon as we get.
Wow. Hold on. Okay, so this basically the work that you're talking about right now is all in service of, if they keep it the way that they want it, this is what they have to do. But ultimately, what you're actually fighting for is it sounds like, for what they've put in place to even go away. Am I close to right?
Let's see. Can you say that a different way? I'm not sure.
Okay, so here's what I mean. It sounds like what you are currently doing, like these extensions and trying to make sure that you get more time. That getting more time, it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with actually resolving the issue. This is, hey, if your standards of what you're talking about stays in place, well, I want more time to recoup my investment. Then you guys can have this standard of where there is no, this heinous situation around short-term rentals. But it also sounds like there's still this other matter that's open, whereby this whole thing or everything that they've put down so far could just have to be, for lack of a better word, abolished and restarted from.
Yeah. Well, and that's where what leads us to today and our big victory. So about 3 or 4 months ago, the ARA kind of raised its head again. Anytime something big's going on, they call in the group and we have a big meeting. They're really secret because we get imposters in there and stuff. But what it was actually a political meeting, and the Chamber of Commerce and a couple of political leaders were there. And of course, all politics are local, but there were 2 candidates that if we were able to flip on the city council, we would then have a 5-2 lead. And we've been promised grandfather in if they get elected. One of them, which is the new mayor.
Wow.
So at this point, we decided as an ARA, it was good for us to get involved. We were aligned when this whole thing happened with the short-term rental. what we think happened is all the complaints stopped after the ban. We're still operating, in there. So of course we're the good citizens that are left.
Right.
But all of the orchestrated people, all the crying in the city council meetings, all the complaints to the city, they all stopped. So everything went away. So that was led by someone who stopped leading it. And the city council flipped to an anti-Disney city council for the first time ever. Yeah. So Disney.
Okay.
Yeah. So the person who was behind this whole thing was somebody supported by the labor unions who wanted to flip the city council. They got it. They got the ban, and that's how they got the city council. It was very anti-business, including Disney, and lumping short-term rentals as the boogeyman. I mean, we're nothing compared to Disney, and
Right.
This election, they had an $18 an hour minimum wage and lots of very heavy union type referendums on the ballot. So Anaheim got involved, and we teamed up with the Chamber of Commerce and with Disneyland to get this city council that was elected yesterday.
Wow. Ha!
So if you think about,
are you trying to tell me that participating in your local election actually might make a difference?
Well, I wouldn't give up my Saturday to go walk the streets of Anaheim, which I did do, or donate cash money to the politician, which I do not like to do.
Right.
I do both of those things, and I do understand their politicians. They may or may not follow through with their promises, which I totally get. But at least I feel like we have someone who's going to look at the city with a business lens. The new mayor is a small business owner. He's an immigrant to the country. He's just very sympathetic to our plight and sees how we were kind of used in the 2016 election. So now this new city council that just got elected yesterday has to deal with this mess. They have 300 of those 1,000-page short-term rental hardship applications that are all potential lawsuits. So what would be a great way to solve that problem?
Just get rid of it.
We're going to grandfather in. We're going to keep it a limited number of business licenses here, and there you go.
Here's what I like about what you guys have done, and I hope everybody is hearing what I'm saying. This type of thing is happening, and it's going to happen in so many different places. Nobody really knows what to do. You've heard her mention they don't even know how to evaluate the hardship. They don't quite understand the business. The people who are upset and emotional, dare I say, irrational to some degree. And all they know is this is something new that I may or may not want. And again, for those of you watching or commenting, I get you. I'm there. I understand. You don't want your neighborhoods overrun. We don't either. We don't want that. That is not what we're here to do. There is a way for all of us to be shiny, happy people and get along and make this work because we do provide jobs. We have been providing opportunity, and we would like to continue to do so because, this is still the land of the free, home of the brave, while we can defend it and keep it that way. And whether you're inside the U.S. or not, it's still true. Most of the entrepreneurs I've ever run into, this is who we are and what we want to have happen. And Massey, so let me ask you this question. This entire time, because there are some people right now, and I'm curious, I don't even know what you're going to say. There are some people right now who are sitting on the sidelines, waiting for some ultimate resolution to occur. So before they even get started, down this whole roll of short-term rentals, how long do you think it's going to be before this is ultimately decided?
Gosh, I really have no say about it. It could be quickly, depending on this new city council, but from my experience, nothing happens too quick.
Might there be a whole new election cycle before this is handled? Because you said this started back in 2016, right?
Yeah, earlier than that, 2015.
Okay. And that's kind of my point is, we don't know, and I understand that, but I don't want you guys sitting on the sidelines waiting to find out.
Mhm.
Because while you're waiting to find out, Marcy, have you been operating?
I've been operating.
And has that been fun at least?
It's good, and I've got, I'm on my target to get my house paid off, hopefully with my hardship extension, in 10 years. So I do feel like if I had known about your cash flow model, that
Hmm.
I would have felt a little bit more less vulnerable in a way because
How so?
um, if I was operating under your business plan, yeah, it wouldn't have been what I wanted to do. But if I had to be shut down, I could take my operation and move it to a new location a little easier, with a little less risk
Understood.
than being.
Understood.
I ended up buying a property on a busy street that isn't. It's going to have a little trouble with resale. It's a very good multi-use short-term rental property because it doesn't bother neighbors, and it's kind of in the middle of a busy part of town. So
Hmm.
that's why we bought it. We bought it specifically for short-term rental. But I feel like these people who are sitting on the sideline, like they would have missed out on 2014, 15, 16, 17. It's going to be 2020 before actually 2022, the earliest I would be shut down. And over that time,
Right.
I've made a lot of money.
Which you've now documented and proven. Now I mean, what, and I'm assuming you're not cleaning it yourself. So or I'm assuming you're not cleaning it yourself. Is someone else cleaning it for you?
We have a
Eh,
cleaning service and a gardener who take care of both Anaheim residents who take care of the place. And
Got it. So, oh, so they're even Anaheim residents. So even those wages are staying local. I mean, and the TOTs being submitted. So you're literally a part of the solution, creating jobs and tax revenue
Mhm.
in the city of Anaheim. That somehow, I guess, they have too much money and they just want to say no, we don't want anymore. Oh man, I
So
love
that's
this.
where logic does not come into play, unfortunately.
Mm,
But think about these relationships. Like, think back, like how disruptive this industry is. Think about when the hotel industry or lobby was formed and they made their relationship with politicians, and then the labor unions came in. I mean, that's a legacy of how many years? 80 years?
Probably closer to 100-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, but
So
especially if you're talking on the East Coast.
so all of these what do you call them? Relationships
Sure.
between the politicians and the hotels and the labor unions. They can get the labor unions and the hotels, like they can get nothing from us and from Airbnb, which is now the largest hotel chain in the world. And the politicians are looking at their upside, which has always kind of been, with the lobbies and whoever can get to them. So I do feel like there needs to be like some sort, like kind of for this new economy, it's something we should be thinking about. I mean, especially with the kind of group that you're amassing, like with your education, like something we should be thinking about because this was a 3-2 vote.
Yeah. It would, which is code for it's too close. It should have been much, much further than what it is.
Well, and then you look at cities that are surrounding Anaheim, like Garden Grove and Fullerton and Santa Ana and Costa Mesa. Like all of these cities are just sitting there waiting because they don't have the revenue that Anaheim does.
Right.
Right?
Well, they're waiting for an Anaheim to figure it out so they can go, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And Anaheim clearly isn't going to have it figured out for another 4, 5, 6 years plus.
Yeah.
And that's, again, this is why I've said time and again, always look up the ordinances to see if they exist. Most of the time they don't already. But then once you've looked it up and they're not there, proceed, because until it does, you don't know how it's going to play out. But always keep yourself in a position to where should it be the 2 to 3 vote or something that did not go well for you, you're in this situation in which uh you can move, you can make moves if need be, to still preserve the business and provide a great service without having to be shut down. So, Marcy, as I'm curious to know, knowing everything and even having gone through this now for a number of years, knowing what you know today, other than what you said, talking about the program, and thank you for the kind words and mentioning the way that we do things, do you regret having started when you did at all?
Absolutely not. No, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's something we really wanted to do for several years, and I'm happy that we were informed with the city of Anaheim that went right in there to kind of know what we were getting into to protect ourselves. And I would do that again if we opened in a new city, just to make sure. I don't want to be the person who didn't know to file the hardship, you know.
Right, because there's, I mean, how many people was it that you said that did not, um, that didn't even file for the hardship
There was
extension?
like a one-page form you could have filled out that just basically said you invested X amount of dollars and you've made this amount of dollars. You could have made it up. They couldn't verify it, and that gave you an automatic 3-year extension. And 50 short-term rental operators neglected to turn that form in.
Wow. Wow.
So, and that's the ones that were permitted. And then the city has also shut down a lot of the non-permitted because we've kind of made them. We're like, hey, you got to shut down the non-permitted people. It's not fair for us to be paying 15% TOT tax and people operating illegally. So they've done a good job at shutting that down. But it's like, who's going to fight for us? The guests. My guests want to come to Disneyland and they want to stay in a house as opposed to a hotel room. It's a different experience. There's,
Absolutely.
and the hotels are booked. The hotels are not against us in Anaheim. That might not be the case everywhere, but the guests aren't going to fight for us, and the politicians, were maybe not the most popular. So we got to make a case by being the best operators and keeping the complaints down. So the city council doesn't want to hear complaints about parties and stuff like that going on. And I think that's, definitely being a good member of the community is key, and it's helped us a lot because nobody complains anymore about short-term rentals in Anaheim. And there's no crying at the city council meeting anymore.
No, you're right. Now they've just got to get the cash register sound keep flowing, and they'll figure out a way to figure it out. So
Yeah.
I definitely, again, I appreciate all that you are contributing to the group, all that you have contributed, keeping our book straight, all of us. For those of you inside the group, if you haven't, inside the mastermind product, there's an entire bookkeeping module that Marcy put there for us. If you've ever been like struggling, how on earth do I get my books done? It's there. Okay. And you can definitely reach out to her as well through there. So make sure that you take the time. Is there anything any last thing you want to say, Marcy, before we go?
One more thing I want to say. I got a really important booking.
Oh, okay. Come on.
Okay. So the Massey family is not going to be having to stay in Anaheim for Thanksgiving.
No.
And so I did play at the pricing. I got a cancellation. And,
okay, hold on. We got to start this story from the beginning. Okay. And I'm gonna. So you got to tell it, and I'm forcing you to tell it because this is good, and I need everybody to hear it really clearly.
Okay, so my specialty is bookkeeping.
Correct.
Maybe not the most. Well, I could probably learn a few things from the group.
Yes.
And I'm always open to learning. And so at the last summit, I was taught a few things about pricing, and it was brought to my attention that my pricing probably wasn't priced correctly, especially being that I'm one of only 288 legal operators in the city of Anaheim. And I thought it was great because my place was fully booked for the whole year. And so anyway, I got a really good education from Jay, but I'm still nervous about it because I have my goals and targets I'm trying to hit, and empty nights stress me out. But I did install and work with the pricing software to handle a cancellation I had for Thanksgiving. And I said, okay, I'll keep the pricing here, but if it doesn't book, then the Massey family had to have Thanksgiving in Anaheim and rent my
Yes.
place.
Now hold on. Let me help people understand. Okay. So what she's saying is that she had her pricing. Now understand, this was a few months ago from the time that we're recording this thing, and she had Thanksgiving booked already, which was, what was that?
July.
4 months or so?
Yeah, July.
Yeah. We were talking in July, and she already had Thanksgiving booked in a house in Anaheim, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Your price is too low. Now, long story short, she does end up getting a cancellation. Then we made some suggestions, and I said very clearly it should be this much. In fact, if it's not this much, we'll be there because, hey, yeah, because that's what that should go for. So now I got to hear this.
Okay, so it just rebooked about 4 days ago.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the booking was 1 day longer than the previous booking because there's a 3-night minimum in Anaheim, so I do end up with open days sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It completely booked, fit in my open days.
Yes.
And the net difference between the two bookings
Yes.
was $662.
So you were going to leave $662 on the table. What was that in percentage? So how much more as a percentage did you get?
I got, let's say, let me pull this out of my head here. So I got probably about 30, probably around 39% more than I had booked for originally.
You know what? Dinner should be on you. I should be going to dinner.
I told you what the bet was.
Man.
Is that since I did book it, I had to bring the price down a little bit because I was getting nervous.
I understand.
But I said I would provide your turkey if I got it booked at the higher price. So I will share some of my
there it is.
So I'll ask Poppy about the poundage that you guys need.
No problem. Apparently, I will work for turkeys.
Yes.
No, but either way, I am so excited because, see, guys, all of us as entrepreneurs, we grow, and it's step by step. Just because, you don't see me talking to you guys about how to raise horses because I know I'm allergic and I don't know anything about it. So you shouldn't expect me to know be good at that. And Massey, even though she owns a short-term rental and is working it, we can all improve as operators, and that's exactly one of the best benefits that we've got together inside of our groups, is that we're always sharing best practices, making sure that you're going out there to do the absolute best things that we know how to help make happen. Because at the end of the day, that rising tide, it can lift all boats when we're all working together. I'm excited for you. Are you excited at least? Are you at least a little relieved?
Yes, I'm stoked, and I felt like I've learned a new skill, for not just Thanksgiving, but for all the pricing and,
right.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about it.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you again for hanging out with us. I know you're busy, and I appreciate you taking the time to just share with us, some of the things that you have learned today. And thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Now, for those of you who are still here and you've been wondering, okay, what is this program? Feel free to go over to cashflowdiary.com /star. It's just a 90-minute presentation. It'll teach you some of the basics that many of our students have been using to go out there and totally crush this short-term rental game. Because at the end of the day, if you don't make any money, it doesn't really help anybody because you can't provide any jobs. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be the best version of you that you have ever been and have ever thought of being. And the only way we can help you make that happen is by putting more dollars in your pocket, i.e. giving you more in use value than we take from you in cash value. And that's exactly what Cashflow Diary is here to do. So, with that being said, it's been fun. I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited, but I'm excited. And, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I definitely look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Until next time.